Raja was
Gotta
really
love
pleasant
that
way
cold open.
to drop the F-bomb in 13 seconds.
Yeah, you is a great way to start off the pod. I love it.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Coconut Curry Podcast and another episode for us. If you're new here, we are three college students at the University of Pittsburgh just chatting about sports and hopefully offering a fresh new perspective on things. If you've already made it to this far in the episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And a lot has happened since the last time we were on. The football season is in full swing, but also New Year's Eve happened and New Year's Day. So I wish everyone had a good, happy New Year. Boys, what do we do for the New Year?
I waited 2 hours in line for Tequila Cowboy.
Yeah, we
2 hours?
For anybody that doesn't live in Pittsburgh or has standards, Tequila Cowboy. Tequila Cowboy is like a local bar. It's exactly how it sounds. It's just this huge bar with like big dance floors, whatever, like fairly cheap drinks, and it's just very, very trashy because it's where all the young college kids go. And the line was, not around the block, and damn. It was a lot. There was a lot of people in there. Everybody got very drunk very quickly. And it was like we had like the New Year's, like, oh, it's the countdown for the drop. No one cared.
I was gonna say, I can't.
Legitimately, they cut, like, it was like they were playing a song. They cut to 10 seconds on the screen. Like, whoa, New Year's. And they just keep going. Like, they just go right back to the song. Yeah, like, no one cares.
Countdown started. I looked at the screen and I go, wait, 20? Because I was looking at my phone and I'm like, there's no way they're actually going to do something.
They just cut.
Like, I thought maybe, they'll go to the ball drop or put something on the screen. No, it's just 20, 19, 18.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
It was like halfway through a song. Like,
I was wondering how that went down because I mean I've been to Tequila Cowboy and I spend all my New Year's at home, like watching Dick's Rockin' New Year on the TV, Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year, and I was like, what do they do at like a bar to count it down? So they just started flashing up numbers.
Yeah. And there was like no like song build up to the drop or anything. There was nothing planned. It was just like, yeah, we're just gonna be playing the song, whenever it hits like 20, just switch over. It's like, okay.
And then everyone yelled Happy New Year and then moved on
immediately back to just normal Tequila Cowboy. Yeah.
I can't. What time did you get there for the line to be that long?
We got there at 9:30.
9:30.
And you didn't get in until
like 11.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would have left.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, we saw a lot of stuff going on outside. Like, we saw some girl get arrested.
Yeah.
We witnessed people getting kicked out the line for cutting.
Yeah.
It was honestly very eventful just to wait.
Yeah.
There was entertainment right there.
Because my girlfriend just decided, because there was like a way you could like skip the line. You like pay for like a ticket or whatever, and you get the Disney Express pass, whatever,
the Genie Plus.
So the Genie Plus pass. So it's like she was just like, I'm not waiting out in the cold any longer, and I'm like, that's fair. So then we ended up going in earlier, and we walk in. It is 9:45. Some dude is already getting kicked out of Tequila Cowboy. It's like, dude, the night just started. How are we doing this?
That's just an L on all fronts. You're not even getting to celebrate. You've like
dude, you're going to the drunk tank.
Like, faster. The more people that got kicked out, the better.
Yeah,
well, for you guys, yeah. But for that person, all you have to do is make it to midnight. After midnight, who cares what happens? But you need to make it to the 12 o'clock, 11:59 window. God. And 9:45 is just a tough look.
It was so funny. And then I had I was carrying my girlfriend's purse, and there were these two girls sitting at the bar that, like, for context, incredibly fake spray tans on.
Yep.
And some very gaudy jewelry on, probably like mid to later 20s. They like both kind of like look at each other, and I like kind of see them at like the corner of my eye, like kind of like whispering, and the one girl goes, "Oh, nice purse." I'm like, "Thanks, it's my girlfriend's." And they're like, "Oh." And then my girlfriend walks back over and is like, and hands me my drink and is like, "Oh," and then we just like walk away. I'm like, what was the point of that? Are you trying to get me and be like, "Oh, I don't like your purse. You're a man carrying a purse." I'm like, I don't care. Like,
What was the purpose of the comment?
Yeah, like, okay, like, do you really think it's like, oh, gotcha, like, I'm gonna insult a man for carrying a purse? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just carrying this. Like, whatever.
It's like when they take a picture of the camera with a flash and like, gotcha.
It's like, gotcha. It's like, okay. Like, sick. Anyway. But yeah, that was our New Year's. It was a good time.
Yeah. I hung out with family for the most part. I do that for every New Year's. But I did want to share. So, it gets close to ball drop and we get the champagne out. We start pouring people's glass and we have 3 people at 11, 9, and 6 in age. So they get like these little sparkling ciders you pour in a glass, but they look very similar. They look very similar to regular champagne. So I'm handing it to the kids. I'm like, don't lose track of your cup. Like there's other alcoholic cups laying around. And so my 6-year-old cousin,
oh no,
gets his glass off of it and take like I saw him drink a couple other sips and then he just takes a drink of it and goes, "Mommy, this tastes like alcohol." And I'm like, God damn it. Like I'm like, 'cause I was pouring, so I was like, I really just gave this kid like straight champagne, right? So I walk over there and I'm like, oh my God, like I mean, like it's not the end of the world, but I'm like, oh God, this is a tough look. Like I'm gonna have to. And then I take one sniff of it. It smells like straight apple juice. So then I took a sip of it. It's not champagne at all. It's just the sparkling cider. And for the rest of the night, he keeps trying to tell us that he's been like that his drink is alcohol. I'm like Henry, like you are not drinking alcohol. Like, you are drinking sparkling cider.
Like he's like passed out of the couch, and it's like I'm so drunk. It's like, well, shut up.
And he was delusional the next day because they were sleeping over here. He's just because he was so tired, and I was like, he's hungover. Like
he's hungover.
Like, too much sparkling cider. It got him good.
Got after it. Yeah.
But that was my New Year. Not too eventful, but just how I like it. And we're all
just
back to school.
Time. Yeah.
And we're all back to school in a few days. Break was too short in my opinion. I don't know about y'all, but it feels
too short. Yeah. I mean, granted, I do just want to work at this point. Like, just let me work, please, for the love of God.
Final semester, we have a final push.
But for us, it's more like
we're never gonna be in school forever, man. Like we're never leaving.
But it's
like,
one final semester of undergraduate.
Even when we're working, you're still like doing learning, like while you're working. Like it never ends.
Endless suffering builds character.
It's only 7 more years.
It's only 70 more years at this rate, my man.
It's only 7 more years and like $400,000 in student loans.
$400,000, and then even when you're working, you still got to be learning and doing stuff, and gotta love it.
ChatGPT just take my job, whatever.
Just all part of the grind.
It's all part of the grind.
But anyway, we're here to talk about sports, so we're gonna hop in straight to our first segment, the disgruntled moment of the week. We started the segment last week where we talked about some type of anger going around in either our personal lives or the sports world and commenting on that. So I will start us off with giving my disgruntled moment of the week award to AJ Brown, who has continued to be disgruntled after every single football game. I acknowledge that AJ Brown has said that he's not mad at the coaching staff and whatnot, but you know what? Your actions speak louder than words. Not talking to the media after multiple times, not a good look. You tried to cover it up with taking the team to an escape room and how you're a good leader. That's cool. You didn't hear about this?
No, I saw. Okay. I just saw like it briefly. I was like, "What? Like, why are they going to an escape room?"
So Jordan Mailata is talking because people are asking him, like, of course, like, what's up with AJ Brown? He's like, well, he's really a good leader. Like, he just took the whole team out to an escape room to help build like team camaraderie, and it's a great like little story thing. But I'm like, God, the fact that we've resorted to, guys, don't worry, AJ Brown's a good leader because he took his team to an escape room. Like, that's how low Eagles fandom has gotten right now. And Raj will get into his Eagles rant in a little bit. But the fact that we are having questions in week 17 about if people on the team are disgruntled, which they are, and if there's good leaders on the team is ludicrous for an organization that made the Super Bowl last year. Like, we should not be having an AJ Brown, like, what's up with him debate. But here we are. So my award goes to AJ Brown for disgruntled moment of the week. Peter, who are you giving your disgruntled moment of the week award to?
I'm giving my disgruntled moment of the week to the refs. And no, not just because of the Detroit Cowboys game and we'll probably get into that later. But just like in general, I feel like the refs are progressively getting worse every single year with just how they call the games, when they throw penalties, the fact that half the time it seems like they just don't know like what's going on when we as fans know what's going on. And it's just like, if it's this simple, like how do we not know? Like it really is like just ridiculous at this point. And I have heard that, at least I've heard rumors apparently, that the NFL is having discussions of making refs full time and like actually getting them like fully trained like during the off season and everything like that. So that's good. But again, these are rumors about discussions. This isn't going to be happening for like 10 years, probably.
No, it's going to be so long.
Yeah. So it's like we're going to have to be dealing with like crappy refereeing for at least another 10 years, if this is even true. And it's just really frustrating because like you have these amazing games, because we've been having great games recently.
Yeah, no,
when the
refs have inserted themselves into really good games.
Exactly. And it's like we've been having like these very classic games recently, and it's just like, damn, I really wish the refs weren't like the reason why this game ended the way it did. Because like obviously, you know, you take the Detroit and Cowboys game for example, like having that, like, because it's like just the way that everything occurred, it wasn't because of like anybody being at fault. It was literally just because the ref got confused, and that was it. And like that's like that ruined probably like one of the coolest highlights you will ever see of Dan Campbell going for 2 and having a lineman score a touchdown against like the team that you're fighting for second place in the NFC for. Like that would have been like an all-time like big man touchdown conversion moment. But now we don't get that because the ref literally didn't know who was reporting.
Yeah, and for that, like that's the same refereeing crew who missed Bradbury's blatant face mask against, was it Tyreek? Again, the Dolphins game. I forget.
Yes, it was against Tyreek and the Packers.
Waddle or Reek, one of the two.
Yeah, and then the Packers like game, there was like a ridiculous PI. Well, because there was the awful 15-yard penalty before that, and then they missed
the PI on MVS.
The PI later. So they're just awful refs, and they did get downgraded, but still like
So for those 2 games with the ticky tack missed calls, I can almost be like, I understand you're letting the guys play, whatever. Yeah. But when you follow that up with a really important game where you've just straight up missed someone reporting for reporting, that's when you break it. I'm glad the NFL downgraded them, because that crew shouldn't be in the playoffs.
No, they shouldn't be, but like it's not going to change. They're still going to be terrible.
No, they're still going to be. I'm wondering if they're going to have to move to some sort of booth review. Obviously, that wouldn't have fixed the Cowboys-Lions, but that doesn't happen very often. Yeah, I think they're going to have to find a way to maybe like booth review penalties, or
I forget which game it was this year, but they did. It might have been during the Bills-Broncos game, I think. I don't remember which one it was. But
wow, what a throwback! That game was a while ago.
Because they were doing expedited reviews. Or maybe it was during the Seahawks-Eagles game. I don't remember which one it was. But there was a game that they were doing expedited reviews where, like, it would even be, like, during the replay, and the announcers were, like, talking about it, the refs would just make the call and be like, no, this is overturned or something.
So I think there needs to be a situation where either coaches can challenge, like, have an extra challenge flag for challenging calls that they think were missed, or that there's a head ref sitting up there who can say, wow, this was such an egregious call or non-call.
Because I think that's what they're doing, but they're not doing it for every game. That's what's weird. It's like they have somebody up there like looking at it, but they don't just like, hey, this is what happened. Like, this is very obvious.
think it might be something where they can overturn called penalties but not address
on
new
the
ones
field.
Or something.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
But like for a call against MVS, like in that Packers Chiefs game, that's something
like,
where
that's insane.
That's something where I need a head referee at the top, because of I don't want it to be that way, but because the refs have been so bad. Not that they have an easy job, but because they have been so bad, we need somebody up in the top being like, all right, this is so egregious that I'm calling down to them and saying, you need to throw the flag last minute. Because it's just affecting the result of football games, and you're obviously going to have a head ref there who knows when to let the referee crew just do their thing and not not let them ticky tack stuff. But
Exactly.
yeah, if there was a play in the Eagles, I think it was the Cowboys game where one of our defensive linemen got completely held, and it led to the Cowboys getting a first down or whatever. And it was anybody could make that call, and the refs just missed it. And that's something where easily a ref could go in and say, "Hey, that's you can't miss that call." So yeah. Refereeing will be an interesting point for the NFL to address. It should be ahead of banning the tush push, but for some reason, Roger Goodell really wants to make that happen.
But apparently, he said that he doesn't want it necessarily banned. He just wants to look at it.
So
it's they can't even get their story straight on it. It's I don't know. It's just dumb.
No, they just want to ban it for no reason.
Yeah. God.
Anyway,
whatever.
Raj, disgruntled moment of the week. We already know where this is heading, but just who gets your disgruntled moment of the week award?
The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, the entire offense, the entire defense, the coaching staff, the management team, security, just everyone. Everyone. Ever since the 49ers murdered us at the link, it's been downhill from there. I understand losing to the 49ers, and I understand losing to the Cowboys at their stadium in Dallas or wherever they play, Arlington. I understand those two losses. I don't understand losing to the Seahawks. Okay, any given Sunday or Monday or wherever we played Monday night, I get it. Whatever. It was our defense choked. Bradbury got cooked. Whatever. We still had a good shot of winning the East. All we had to do was win out against the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Giants. The Giants game, I was scared for a little bit. I don't know what was going on. The Cardinals game, I was hype. I see Sidney Brown with a 99-yard pick six. I'm like, oh, okay, we're cooking now. I guess finally the team's finally getting it together against the Cardinals. Thank you. Just wanted to piss off Gannon one more time to show him you cost us the Super Bowl by not making a right adjustment. Whatever. We're up 21-6 at halftime. And now comes the second half where James Conner decided just to be LT on us and run us all over the whole time. I don't understand what happened. Our very good defensive line collapsed. Our linebackers collapsed. Our defensive backs collapsed. Our defense collapsed. And James Conner ran over us. Kyler Murray looked like a god out there because he avoided every sack possible. I don't understand. We resurrected Wilson's career, that rookie who disappeared for weeks after Dobbs got benched. We resurrected him. And then, I don't know, we have the ball. We're driving down the field. All we have to do is, run the clock out, play smart football, hand the ball off to Swift, let him get yards. He was cooking in the first half. But for some reason, the second half, we just decided to air that out. I don't know why. Why? There was no point. There was no need to just keep sending deep shots. And Smitty, I know you dropped that one deep shot. It's okay. And I'm also pissed he got hurt.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I don't understand what happened. We get down the field. Okay, we get the field goal. We're up. You know what? It's okay. Our defense can stop Kyler Murray from driving 99 yards down the field or whatever it was and score. But no, they drove and drove and drove into the end zone. Whoever that Rondale Moore made us look stupid. That dude Wilson made us look stupid. James Conner should have never been let go by the Steelers. They are idiots for that. Anyways, they get to the 1 or the 2 yard line, and James Conner walks into the end zone with 15, 20 seconds left or whatever it was. It didn't even matter because I had no faith that Jalen Hurts could drive the ball down the field and get us a touchdown. After I saw they scored, I just threw my phone across the room, left it on the floor, left the game on, and just watched in silence as I witnessed us lose to the goddamn Arizona Cardinals, who were 3-12. And we lost the NFC East right there because there's no way in hell the Cowboys are losing to the goddamn Commanders next week. So, in summary, Eagles, I'm just going to pack it up. I don't care. We're not going to do anything in the playoffs. This is just suffering. I don't know what to do. Brian Johnson's terrible. Bring back Frank Reich. I don't understand. Brian Johnson worked under Steichen. you should be calling a similar offense to the dude who made her offense good. It doesn't make sense. Stop calling a high school offense. I was watching the Michigan game, and I'm like, this is very Brian Johnson-esque. Huh, that's crazy. That's not going to work in the NFL. Crazy. Anyways, I'm done.
Did you write that down?
All of it. Just I typed it all
Yeah.
out. And we will talk about the Eagles a little bit more later. But yes, I think the Eagles are certainly deserving of the Disgruntled Moment of the Week award. So, as mentioned, those are our Disgruntled Moment of the Week awards. Tune in next week to get them more. But we're going to move into where the NFL playoff picture stands. We're only going to be talking about the NFL today as it kind of reaches the apex of the season. Some of the other sports are going to go on the back burner, and we'll pick them up after the season is over. But here's where we stand right now in the playoff picture. The 49ers have clinched the 1 seed, and the Cowboys have practically clinched the 3 seed. It would take a Cowboys and an Eagles loss to get the Cowboys, the Lions, to the 2 seed. The 4 seed is, of course, occupied by the NFC South winner. We'll get into those games. The Rams have pretty much locked up the 6 seed. It would take a lot for that situation to change. And the Packers and the Seahawks are fighting for 7. The Eagles are kind of locked into that 5 spot, assuming the Cowboys beat the Commanders. In the AFC, a lot different picture because a lot of things could change. We got the Ravens at 1 and the Browns at 5. And then everything else is wide open. And that's what makes it really fun heading into the week. So that's kind of where we stand, but we want to hit on a few big games. And I will give us a break a little bit from the Eagles game before we talk about that. But let's start with the Ravens destroying the Miami Dolphins 56-19.
I have a comment on that. Personally, I don't
go
think
ahead.
Lamar Jackson's quarterback enough.
Oh my God.
He wasn't
That was
worth
insane.
giving that contract to.
That was, yeah.
That might have been one of the stupidest takes I've ever heard.
Yeah, so for those that somehow didn't hear, I have no idea who this woman was, but some woman on a mic, she was asked like, oh, well, like, what do you think about Lamar Jackson, essentially, and like his like MVP case? And she basically said, oh, well, I prefer my quarterbacks to be more quarterback-y, which is like, it's like she's not saying what everybody thinks she's saying. Basically, it's very heavily implied that this is a race thing because, like, you could look at other quarterbacks in the league and they do the exact same thing as Lamar, but it's just because it's Lamar. Now it's different.
And when you look at Lamar, he's going to win his second unanimous MVP.
Yeah.
So,
Best part,
whatever
he had
you
a
want to say
perfect
about
passer rating in this last game. Like,
he had more touchdowns than
objectively
incompletions.
could not have been a better quarterback this last game.
But yeah, Ravens just dismantle the Dolphins. Not like I didn't think the Ravens were going to win in this fashion, but
I thought they were going to win,
is,
not like this though.
Yeah, and this is something where the Dolphins, we've been talking all season about them playing winning teams.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Broussard on First Things First has this whole thing where he calls them break dancers and not fighters. And every time they go up against a team with like very physical fronts and whatnot, the Dolphins don't match up to the test. Their offense, which is supposed to be high powered with Tua, Mike McDaniel, and all these guys, turn into pumpkins when they have to play any type of defense. You look at their games against teams with winning records, they just don't perform on the offensive side of the ball like you would want them to. So this is kind of expected. They put up 24 points on the Dolphins this year. They put up 20 points when they played the Bills. They put up 17 points against the Eagles when the Eagles were actually okay. They put up 14 points against the Chiefs. They put up 22 points against the Cowboys, 19 against the Ravens. So when they play good teams, they don't score that much. I think their difference goes from like 35 against bad teams to like 17 or 18 against good teams. And that's your story. So it's such a stark difference that, and we'll talk about it in future games, I think the Dolphins are a one and done playoff team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're cooked.
Because, I mean, you're obviously not in a great situation against the rolling Ravens, but when you lose by nearly 40,
yeah,
it doesn't really bode well entering the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think the Bills are going to win that game.
Yeah. And I mean, I think because the Bills win tomorrow. Do they win the AFC East?
No, okay, so the Bills Dolphins are playing in the nighttime slot for the division in the 2 seed.
Yeah. Okay. So for the two, Jesus, the
Yeah, the Bills' nightmare scenario is if they lose that game, they can just not be kicked out the playoffs.
Yeah, they could just literally just get shoved into a locker and sent home.
So we were going to talk about some playoff scenarios, but we'll just talk about it now. The Bills are likely to make the playoffs, but if they lose, they only have a 64% chance to make the playoffs because now they're in contention with the Texans. They could have the same record as the Steelers, the Texans if they win, the Jaguars if they win. So they could get caught in this 10-7 bubble, which they would likely make it out of. But if everything goes wrong, like if the Steelers beat Baltimore, if the Texans win,
possibility,
and the Jaguars win, and the Bills lose, we're talking about a situation where the Bills miss the playoffs. But if they win, they're nearly guaranteed, I think, to get the 2 seed because they beat the Chiefs head-to-head and would have... Oh, no, okay, so I think... Yeah, no, they would have the same record as the Chiefs. The Chiefs won, and they beat the Chiefs head-to-head.
Mm-hmm.
And the Browns can't be better than them because the Browns didn't win the division, so the Bills would just go into the 2 seed.
Jesus.
And that nightmare scenario is very possible considering the Ravens are resting and benching their players. So the Steelers should win that game. And then the Texans are playing who?
The Texans are playing the Colts, which is a fascinating. We're going to talk about that. We'll preview that game a little bit. That game is fascinating because they're both 10-7, and the Texans are currently out of the playoff spot because the Colts have the tiebreaker over them.
Yep.
Dang. So
this is going to be a brutal week 18.
But I mean, shout out to the NFL for putting the Miami and Buffalo game in week 18. That's really good foresight because that game is going to be one of the most televised regular season games I think we've had in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're talking about the difference between being because you would be the 6th seed or the 7th seed. So you're going to go on the road into either the Chiefs or on the road into the other person's place. So if you're the Dolphins, you want no part in going back into Buffalo where you just you got blown out in Buffalo earlier this season. And then in this hypothetical scenario, you would have lost again to the Bills at home. And then for a third time, you'd have to go back up to Buffalo to play them again. That's a nightmare scenario. So anyway, horrible loss for the Dolphins. Again, I just think everybody all year has been like, can they beat winning teams? They've never been able to beat winning teams. And every time we ask them if they can beat winning teams, they can't.
They say, nuh-uh. No,
Except
thank you.
The Cowboys.
Yeah, true.
What?
Except the Cowboys. That's the one winning team I think they beat. The Dolphins.
Did the Dolphins end up winning that game? They did by 2 points, yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's also with the caveat that the Cowboys are road frauds.
True. They are road frauds.
So, but we'll have to see. That'll be a big game, but I just thought notable. Lamar Jackson wraps up his MVP case there. It just shows you how much a season can change. We went from Brock Purdy being minus 200 odds, which is aggressive odds with a couple weeks ago. Lamar takes a pretty good foothold of that position with the win over the 49ers and then has a perfect game against the Dolphins. And now I think Lamar Jackson is going to win a second unanimous MVP.
Yeah, I think he is.
That's
and
crazy.
You think about all the teams in the offseason who wouldn't sign him. Teams like the Jets and the Patriots and Atlanta.
Don't worry, Desmond Ritter's the option, right, guys?
Oh, God. Yeah, they missed out on Deshaun and Lamar. Gotta love it.
Dude, that one NFL meme where it's like Desmond Ritter meet and greet, the dude just pulls out a semi-auto.
I saw that. Dude,
that was so out of pocket.
That dude has been on absolute demon time this year. I don't know what he's been on.
But any other takeaways from that game?
I mean, I think everything kind of just spiraled out of control for Miami. I think they're better than that loss, but it kind of just everything hit the fan. And also them losing Bradley Chubb after losing Jalen Phillips, they are screwed on defense.
That's a great shout. I forgot to put that in the notes. Yeah, the Bradley Chubb loss is absolutely it hurts so bad. So the Dolphins are playing really good defense when Jalen Ramsey had gotten in. and to have that much outside like linebacker or not outside line, edge like injuries is just brutal for them. So and they're again we talked about their offense doesn't play great against good defenses. So you're kind of like, well, crap. Like our offense is not as elite as we hoped it was, and our defense, who's playing really well now, is missing 2 elite edge rushers.
Yeah, they're just screwed on defense at least.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, we'll kick it over to Peter to talk about the Giants narrowly losing to the Rams, which this is a funny game just because this game meant everything to the Rams, meant kind of nothing to the Giants.
Terrorist in New York.
Well, so listen, I mean, this was an absolutely surgical tank job by the Giants. They
we love a good
Brian
surgical
Dable,
tank job.
They put on a clinic. Now, for anybody that actually watched that game, it was very obvious the Giants were trying to win this game, but they ended up just like it was just weird because if you were to tell me and then watch that game and say that if the Giants are tanking, it's like, yeah, they're definitely tanking. They just didn't tackle Puka Nacua on the sideline at one point, and then he runs for 70 yards, and then they just Tyrod misses Saquon Barkley, and then they shank the field goal at the end. All of these things are oh, this is the most obvious tank job ever, but then it cuts to Brian Dable and he is losing his mind.
Face red.
Just face so red, just losing his mind because it's the dumbest crap that has them losing these games. Because the thing is they're not good by any stretch. Let me make that abundantly clear. They are not a good football team, but they are better than their current record because they've had a lot of close games this year, and I knew it was going to be a down year. I didn't think it would be this bad of a down year for the Giants, but it was tough watching them shank that field goal at the end to lose. But it was you know what? In the end, it's probably going to be better because I think they might, because they got the 5th overall pick right now or something, so they'll be able to get some ridiculously good player because they are a very young team too, and they can finally, for the love of God, get some more offensive linemen.
Drake May.
No, dude, Drake May will die. How many sacks do you think the Giants have let up this year?
Probably over 100.
Not yet.
85.
83. Yeah, 83 sacks. You want to know who the second place team is?
The Commanders.
Jets. How many do you think they have?
Oh, God. 81?
Nope. I can see it.
Wait, there are more?
No. The
They're
Giants
less.
are 1, Jets
No.
are 2.
Oh, God. Is it 50?
63, nope. Raj.
63. Yeah. The Giants have let up 20 more sacks than the second place team. They've had 3 quarterbacks this year.
Okay, no, low key, shout out to the Commanders for being at 61. They were
on
running
pace for
away
over
with the
100,
award.
yeah.
They were running away with that award mid-season.
Yeah.
So,
well, because when you're averaging legitimately 7 sacks a game or something like that, it's ridiculous how many the Giants are letting up. But yeah, because the issue
what
is
is the all-time number on that?
I have no idea. But the Giants are probably knocking on that doorstep. Yeah. But the issue with the Giants is we've said this before on some podcasts, but they have good players, but the players that they don't, or the positions they don't have good players at are legitimately the worst players in football. Because they have their offensive line. They have Andrew Thomas, who's a very, very good left tackle, and John Michael Schmitz. He's a very, very solid center. He's an undersized guy, kind of like a bad attitude. He reminds me a lot of Jason Kelsey, strangely, just in the way he carries himself and stuff.
Not a Pro Bowler.
Well, he's not a Pro Bowler because you want to know why? He can't block anybody during the pass rush because everybody runs away from him because we have 2 bum guards on either side. It's oh, am I going to run at the fairly solid rookie or this dude
He's
that's a
just
turnstile?
phantom blocking.
Literally, you'll see him drop back and everybody runs away from him, and he's just okay, I guess I'll go hit this guy, I guess, because there's no one to block because they all go over to the guards at the right tackle. It's legitimately hilarious if you watch Giants games. It's so funny just watching how teams try to attack the Giants. Because
we, as Eagles fans, we had a sense for that when we watched the Giants-Eagles game. That game was a disaster.
Yeah, it was insane. It was just because did you ever see a nose guard line up ever during that game? They were in 4 the entire time. Because it was like, okay, we'll send Hassan Reddick on the other side of Andrew Thomas, and we'll just send Jalen Carter away from John Michael Schmitz. Cool. All right. Let's get pressure on and kill these quarterbacks.
Peter, are you ready for the most sacks allowed in a season list?
Yes.
The Giants are second all time.
Of course.
In
I mean,
sacks
why
allowed.
would they be?
Guess who's first all
But the
time?
team that leads them is the 1986 Philadelphia Eagles have 104 sacks in an NFL season. And this is before week 18 existed. So
This also wasn't a passing league.
no. So that was 21 more sacks than the Giants have allowed.
Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, damn it! I'm gonna need to do some research because I want to see what the percentage of sacks is per drop back. It had to be like every other drop back because they didn't pass that much.
I'm going to have to watch 1986 Eagles team highlights.
Dude, I mean,
That sounds
I guess
brutal.
86. I guess they were. It was still a fairly pass, but it definitely
Eagles
wasn't as
were-
pass heavy as it is now. But
The Eagles are 5-10-1.
the fact that they had 5 wins, is
Quarterback
insane.
Ron Jaworski. Ron Jaworski.
Oh
Good
boy, we're
lord.
talking about that era.
Yeah. It's not a good look, but
Lord.
we're not here to talk about the 1986 Eagles. We're here to talk
well,
about the current
just
teams.
surgical tank job by the Giants. The season was dead halfway through the season. They are better than their record, but good lord, send Evan Neal to the moon, and send their guards to purgatory. Once they figure out the offensive line, they'll figure it out.
You've got a great draft pick though for offensive line draft to get an offensive lineman in this draft.
Because the thing is like I think if they're gonna go with somebody, I think they go with Joe Alt from Notre Dame. We'll probably talk more about it, but I think because he can play right and left tackle, I believe. So hopefully he falls to 5, and then they just send Evan Neal to flip some burgers.
But a little side note, the Rams, who were looking really good for a while, really lowered their stock this game, and we talked to the Rams.
Yeah, they struggled. I don't know why.
Yeah, but Matt Stafford 2 interceptions and whatnot. Maybe just a little bit running out of gas towards the end of the season because they've had to play for their playoff life for many weeks now. But that would have been horrible for them to have lost this game.
Yeah, and it was way too close. It was way, way too close.
I wish it went into overtime. I needed Kyron to get 7 more yards for my $50 free bet to hit. I was
He had
so
3
heated.
touchdowns. Crazy.
I
Go ahead, Rush.
I was gonna say I saw Tyrod throw that absolutely terrible pass, and I'm just like, of course this happens to me.
Oh yeah, to Saquon. Yeah, that
Yep.
was because it was like Saquon. It was a perfect play, and then he just like throws it behind him. It's like, dude, what are we
I'm
doing?
saying,
Like, I
Tyrod-
can make that pass, bro.
Tyrod might be the biggest terrorist in New York right now.
No, but he's the commander of the tank. He's the commander of the tank job. He's
I don't care.
looking
My
out for the
free bet-
long-term
my
security of
free
New
bet
York
needed
City.
it.
Well, what's funny is Tyrod's played pretty well these last 2 weeks. He completely upended all the financial interests of Tommy DeVito.
Oh
Like,
yeah, completely.
horrible. I
Yeah,
mean,
rest in peace, Tommy DeVito.
There was
meme was
legitimate
hilarious.
conversation. There's legitimate conversations if Tommy DeVito was like going to be fighting for Daniel Jones and trade. Even though it was a dumb debate, but
Yeah,
like because there was 2 or 3 straight games at one point, and then Tyrod Taylor comes in and just looks exponentially better than he does, and
he throws absolute nukes. Yeah, like when what was it? 2 games back to back, he had like 80-yard bombs to Darius Slayton. Like that, the Giants literally. I don't think they've scored
Agent
a
Bradbury was on the one.
Well, Agent Bradbury was on the one. Well, again, Agent Bradbury coming back, Giants legend. Really trying to screw over the Eagles any chance he gets.
Great homecoming game.
Great homecoming game. Can't wait till he's back in New York City, so that way they can torch him again. He could really just remind us of the good old days. But yeah, I mean, because the issue is like Tyrod Taylor's been playing very solid. Daniel Jones, like, because he didn't get the chance, I feel like, to play against some of the like the
No,
the
Daniel
worst
Jones had no
teams.
shot all year. He's been
Like he really didn't have like much of a shot. And of course there's going to be the whole narrative about how like the Giants never should have paid Daniel Jones, but it's like my thing is like, look, just he's still got another year in his contract. They have another opt out after that. If they legitimately draft a quarterback, I'm going to lose my mind because like a quarterback is not helping this team. No one is helping this team. It is the offensive line that needs help, for the love of God. Also, we need help on stopping the run because, whatever. But
Can't do that either.
we need offensive linemen, receivers, for the love of God. We need interior run support and like another edge rusher outside of Thibodeau, because then they just like double and triple him every play. So
Yeah.
they need a lot
just
more help
everyone.
outside of the quarterback position. Like, it's not just going to solve everything.
Moving on, Cowboys Lions in a game we kind of mentioned,
Ugh.
overshadowed by
reported.
the ref drama. But I think this
Hate the
actually
Cowboys.
this sets up a very interesting storyline for a likely 2-3 seed matchup in the playoffs. If everything goes to plan, you would expect the 1 seed 49ers to be playing the 5 seed Eagles and the 2 seed Cowboys playing the 3 seed Lions. And I think this did set up a very interesting arc with the Lions going in and should have came out with a victory in AT&T Stadium, and now it's the whole ref drama. And I'll give Dan Campbell a lot of credit saying all the right things after the game. Like, it is what it is. Like, we can get them next time though.
Mm-hmm.
And
like he really did handle that. Like, because like he handled it with a lot of class, and like he did still kind of take a bit of a dig. But
you have to take at least a small
you
dig.
have to do it a little bit, and he handled that well too, where he wasn't like absolutely bagging on the refs, but he was like, yeah, they screwed up, but we could have fixed some other things. Like, it was like he explained to it was like, yeah, we were trying to confuse the Cowboys a little bit, but that was supposed to be for the Cowboys. It wasn't supposed to screw up the ref, because like he was like,
the refs just have pea-sized brains.
yeah, because it's like he was like, that wasn't supposed to be the goal. Like, the fact that the ref got confused is insane, but whatever. Yeah, like he handled that very well.
Roger Goodell could not let the Cowboys' little home streak end.
No,
Don't
there's
you
too
worry.
much money there. There's far too much money in Dallas.
But I think also this has been the case in the NFC, I think, for a little bit now. It's not a great look for the Cowboys either to have this game close. I know Lions were fighting hard, but they had already clinched their division and did all the things, and they moved the ball pretty well. CeeDee Lamb has a big game, but they only end up putting up 20 points at the end of the day.
Well, the Cowboys' run game is non-existent.
Well, that's part of the issue, because Mike McCarthy came in saying how they were really hoping to reestablish the run game and get that going, and they're completely a passing reliant offense at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know how long their playoff run will be. CeeDee Lamb is definitely that guy.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah, it makes me quake because we drafted Jalen Reagor over him.
Don't say it. You could have had Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb over Jalen Reagor.
A lot of people over Jalen Reagor and JJ
What was it?
Whiteside.
Yeah, but see, it was, but Justin Jefferson, we had traded something like that. Like, CeeDee Lamb was drafted after Reagor, so it was like we could have just picked the guy. Whereas I think Justin Jefferson was drafted before Reagor because we traded back.
No.
I
think that was the next
Jettis
year.
Was picked right after Reagor.
It was
that's brutal.
I
I feel like we've talked
right
about this
after
before
us.
on the pod because it's so bad.
Yeah, the Viking, because there's a clip of the GM of the Vikings being like, who'd they take? It was like, oh, they took a receiver. They were like, damn it, and then they were like, oh wait, let's go get our guy.
He wasn't. This guy wasn't even on our board.
Yeah,
that clip haunts me forever.
Yeah.
Yep. Not a great moment, but anyway, I think Cowboys Lions game is perfect for eventual rematch in the playoffs, and I would like to see it.
Oh, it'd be sick. It'd be.
Although
I would love to watch that happen.
Although I've been on the record saying, and during our playoff preview episode next week, I will probably say the same thing, where I'm going to take the Rams to beat the Lions, but I would like to see the Lions win that game because
Stafford going back into Detroit and beating them, that'd be insane.
Yeah, I think it'll happen, but I would love to see the Lions play the Cowboys again because I think that would be a ratings bonanza, and I think that would just be an overall great story arc for that game. But now we have to rip off the Band-Aid. We did talk about it earlier, so first I will go to he's kind of biased, but I will go to Peter first from an outside look at the Cardinals beating the Eagles 35-31 in a game where everyone had said the Eagles, all they had to do is beat the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Giants again. And despite this disastrous spell, they will end with the 2 seed and host a game against the Seahawks or the Packers. And now we are looking at the 5 seed. So Peter, just give us your perspective on the situation at hand.
Okay. So, I mean, I watched a decent amount of that game, and it was very, very obvious that the Eagles just keep shooting themselves in the foot. And I think every single fan realizes that. There's that one clip of like the one woman going like, "What the hell are we doing?" Yeah.
Cut through the mic so well.
Yeah, like those mics were on her. It was so funny. But it was like I don't know why they keep doing this, where they get out to like an early lead and then they just stop playing football. Like
okay, but Peter, the problem is they haven't been doing this all year. The whole story all year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like they were doing it earlier in the season and they just have not adjusted at all to it. And it's just like strange to me because it's like this seems very, very obvious of like how to fix it, because like everybody is breaking down, like you can see online where it's like Brian Johnson runs a high school offense. You can see like the defense, and it's like their defense just like isn't good anymore. Like, and you have these people online literally breaking down exactly why the Eagles aren't good and how they could be better, and they're just not doing it. Like I'm just so confused.
And this is, unfortunately, what you get for being a good team last year is that your coordinators go, and that's frustrating. But the problem with the Eagles is in the beginning of the year, the whole problem was, golly, if the Eagles could just play in the first half, they wouldn't have to do these comebacks. Remember the Bills game? We were down at halftime. We came back. Jalen Hurts gets the ball first in overtime. It never goes back to Buffalo. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're done. Eagles win. And the story there is if they just need to start better, but they really adjust the second half. Jalen Hurts needs to get going. Now, all of a sudden, this is 2 straight games where we've had big leads going into halftime against bad teams, and we come out and don't look good.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's what's so confusing is like you guys lost to bad teams. Like
yes,
the Jets defense is very good. Don't get me wrong. The Jets defense is really, really good, but it's like their offense, like how is their offense scoring points? Like I just don't get it. Like you look at like the difference between like the Giants team and the Eagles team. That's like the Giants just lose because they're getting out talented. Like that's just how it is. They just don't have the talent. But you look at the Eagles team and you have great players at great positions. Granted, interior linebacker play is a little bit suspect and safety play is a little bit suspect. Maybe corner too as well, but Bradbury is a really, really good zone corner. He's a really good zone corner.
Well, and we have to give him a little bit. Slay's not in the lineup right now.
Yes, Slay is in the lineup too. But like you look at like the front 4 and it's like it's really, really good. And like you should be able to use that, lean on just like that pure talent and understand like, hey, look, maybe we're not as strong at these positions, but we're going to try to like scheme and exploit a team with our strengths. And like I say these things and I'm not trying to make some profound statement because this should be like coaching 101. Like that doesn't sound like that crazy of a statement, but and then it's just like how I'm now getting on my TikTok feed because of you horrific Eagles fans. I'm getting tons of Eagles TikToks about how everybody wants Sirianni fired now, and it's just like I don't think I've ever seen like I've seen worse Super Bowl fall off. The Rams only like putting up 5 wins the year after winning the Super Bowl was insane. Granted, they had a ton of injuries. I've never seen a team lose a Super Bowl. You know, they lost their coordinators. Yeah, they lost some like role guys. Yeah, but relatively the exact same roster and feel completely different from one year to the next. Like they're playing scared, and it's so weird to me when they would beat the out of other teams last year. Like against the Giants, they would dog walk them 3 times. Like it was not even close. And well, the 2 times they actually played, the one time it was literally backups in. But it's just so weird how like they lost like that swagger and like that like not competitive edge because like obviously they're still playing their hearts out, but like they just lost something to them that just, and it's just like strange to me. Like I don't know what
because we
happened.
paid Jalen Hurts.
But like,
well, no,
like,
Jalen Hurts'
contract
contract hasn't. But Jalen Hurts' contract didn't even kick in yet.
Yeah.
So unless the argument is that he's not playing well. I think the Eagles' problem is they've just let this small issue steamroll over. Listen, they clearly Howie Roseman didn't anticipate some of these people being problems. They lost Javon Hargrave, who just made the Pro Bowl, and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter have had good years, but they have fallen off a little bit more as the season has gone on. They started really well, and now they're getting no pressure in these games. And what's happening a lot of the times is the strength of our defense is supposed to be the defensive line and our edge rushers. They're not getting to the quarterback. And part of the problem is we only rush 4 because we can't send anybody else because the back is so bad. But also, they're not doing the job. The reason Kyler Murray gets out of the pocket is because our edge guys can't take down the quarterback, or our interior guys get in, but then the quarterback flushes out and gets to move outside the pocket. So the interior defensive line, the defensive line as a whole needs to be better. They haven't been playing that great. And somebody was talking about Jordan Davis the other day. Jordan Davis has not been playing well the last couple of games either.
No, I think that's that's definitely because Jalen Carter was playing like really, really well, and then he just I haven't heard his name in weeks. Like, yes, he had like the fumble recovery or like interception, something against the Cowboys at one point, but like that was it. Like I really haven't heard a lot from him, and it's like it's very, very like something is going on in that locker room, and I don't know what it is. Like, because players just like even on the sideline, like when the Cardinals have the ball, like you see players, they're just like they're not like amped up for their defense. They're not like, and this is like when it's like you're winning, like you're still winning. You should be hyping up your defense, you know, and everybody's just like looks terrified. And it's like there's just no faith in either side of the ball. Or it's like you have the defenders when like the offense goes back out there and it's like they need to go like score and like they settle for the field goal, whatever, and defenders are just like hands in head like, oh my god, like I have to go back out there. It's like, what happened? Like what happened to this team?
They've lost all their confidence. I don't know what, like, I'm sure Matt Patricia would have a good decent answer for it, but their guys play so far off of receiver. On third down, you can see guys, the defenders are standing behind the line because I think they're scared of getting burned like they did against Darius Slayton. But honestly, if Kyler Murray and Rondale Moore can get a 50-yard pass off, and God bless them, like, you know, but when we let
Tyrod Taylor and Darius Slayton are connecting for an 80-yard touchdown,
yep, like I'll deal with it. Like I'll be frustrated, but I'll deal with it. But I can't deal with the thinking stuff, and that's what frustrated me about the Eagles in this game. You knew Jonathan Gannon has no ill will against Philadelphia. They helped promote him, but you knew that team wanted to play for that head coach to get that win on that stage in that important situation. And the Cardinals acted like it. They played like it. And the Eagles almost seemed unprepared for it because this was not an Eagles masterclass in the first half, despite being up 15 points. Eagles got generally lucky on a 99-yard pick six.
Yeah.
A great run back by Sidney Brown, but those don't happen often. And they had the ball time and possession wise for like 9 minutes in the first half. They scored really quick, which credit to the offense. They scored 14 points on offense at that half and whatnot. But the Cardinals drove down the field both times, and they were able to get stops before getting them in the end zone. And then in the second half, it was touchdown, 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 touchdown. They just let up touchdowns run up the board because they can't stop anyone. And the Eagles offense never had the ball. Like, as much as I'm frustrated that at the end of the game there was horrible play calling on the offense did their job. They scored 24 points, but barely having the football because the defense could not get off the field because they can't play defense. I don't know, like some people are saying if Reed Blankenship hasn't been bad, and pointing to these guys in the Eagles. The whole defense has been horrible. Like I don't want to hear this kind of stuff. Like I want to see in the playoffs Matt Patricia tell these guys you have to cover one-on-one. Like Slay, you're traveling. You're playing Mike Evans in week 1. You are in playoff round 1. You are traveling with him every game. And if the guys get burnt over the top, cool. Then you adjust, then you make changes. But we need to see like some type of blitz, get to the quarterback. Like this isn't stuff we're not seeing. We're seeing a scared defense, a defense that's scared to get burned down over the clock. And then the Eagles offense against the Cardinals just sat on the sideline the whole entire game. the offense that has 5 Pro Bowlers just announced right before we started recording.
Yeah.
That offense with a $50 million a year quarterback who almost won the MVP award last year. They're just sitting on the sideline because their defense can't get off. Like, either just have them go down and score a touchdown in 2 minutes, or because you need to send some pressure, or what. Like, you just can't let them take all that clock off because their James Conner looks like Walter Payton.
Yeah. I don't, because like, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words with them because like my thing is like they lost their confidence, but are still what, an 11-12 win team?
11-5.
11-5. Like, that's not a bad record. Like,
No, not
they
at
were
all.
never.
And when you look at their losses, they've lost to the Cowboys out on the road, the 49ers. And then they lost to the Seahawks in Seattle, which is not a horrible loss.
Jets have
But then they
MetLife,
had 2
man.
bad losses there.
So the Jets and the Cardinals lost are the only 2 bad losses they've had. Otherwise, the 3 makes sense. Like most teams would take this. The issue with the issue I have, Peter, and this is where I think you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a horrible Super Bowl hangover, but they're collapsing. It's so frustrating because there's like last year the Rams had reasons for not being good. They had people left, people were hurt. Stafford had a spinal cord problem for a lot of the year. Cooper Kupp was injured, all this type of stuff. The Eagles offense is arguably better. The Eagles defense lost some pieces, but also everybody agreed that Jalen Carter was the biggest steal in the draft, and they brought back their cornerbacks who almost won they almost won a Super Bowl last year, and
they got Kevin Byard partway through the season. They picked up Shaq Leonard.
Like the defense is not as good, clearly, but they should have been good enough. And the offense, there should have been no you lost Shane Steichen, sure. Nick Sirianni is the dude who worked with Shane Steichen in the Colts and brought him over. Like, if there's anybody who should know Shane Steichen's system and be able to implement it, it's Nick Sirianni, who worked with Shane Steichen. Nick Sirianni worked with Shane Steichen in Indianapolis, brought him over when he got the head coach role, elevated him from whatever he was doing in Indianapolis to the offensive coordinator spot. Like, there's this big disconnect, and I want to know where it's coming from. But Raj, any breakdown on the Eagles besides from what you said earlier?
I can't keep talking about this team, dude. Like, I legitimately don't understand what happened to us. Like, yeah, we lost our coaches, and I knew there'd be growing pains, but I didn't think the growing pains would keep going until week 18. I hope it stops. I hope we figure it out. I don't know anymore.
I hope the pain stops.
It's just pain. Like, week 1 against the Patriots. Yeah, okay. You know what? New coaches, it's okay. We still won. Week 2, we'll get better. And then week 2, I'm watching there. I'm like, close game again, but, we should get better. Week 3 comes. We should be better soon. It might happen. It's only been 3 games. Here we are, 17 weeks in. What the are we doing?
And this is what I'll say to everybody because I think a lot of Eagles fans understood this, and a lot of other sorry franchise fans, like Jets fans, were sitting there saying, "But guys, you're 11. Like, you have 11-10 wins. Stop complaining." This is why win quality, loss quality matters. The Bills lost a bunch of games this year. We just talked about it on another episode. They lost a bunch of games this year that were super strange. They're about to be the 2 seed, in my opinion, in the AFC playoffs, and they're going to have 2 home games. And that's a great opportunity there. And people think they're a live team. Now, they haven't played great the last 2 weeks, but they are very live for that kind of spot.
They still have a lot of momentum, yeah.
Yeah, the Eagles could get the 2 seed, and not one person believes in them. And the writing was on the wall all year. They have not looked like a good team all year. Every single week they said they needed to fix things. Those things weren't fixed. And this for everybody who kept saying, "You're fine, you're 10-1, you're fine, you're 11-2, you're 11-3, you're 11-4, you're 11-5, whatever." This is why win quality matters. This is why looking good against teams matters. Because as much as the Dolphins can't play winning teams, man, if they get matched up against a 8-8 team in the playoffs, it won't happen this year. But if they did, we'd feel great about the Dolphins. We'd be like they'd win the game. Because you know what the Dolphins are going to do against bad teams. At least they'll get those wins. This is what happens when you have a team like the Eagles who have been playing bad football, and they've lost to 2 bad teams this year. The 1 seed, there is no reason after their start that they shouldn't have the 1 seed. That's all on them because they're tied with the 40. They would have to force the 49ers to play starters against the Rams, who are fighting for playoff seeding, if they simply had won last week, because they would have the same record as the 49ers, and at least the 49ers would have to say, hey, we got to maintain this. Now you're letting the 49ers just put their feet up because you lost a game that you should have won.
Even before that, if we just beat the Seahawks and our defense held up in that second half, we would have the one seed.
Or if you want to go back even further, because I think people don't give the Jets loss enough respect to deserve. Sure, it's just one game in the middle of the season, but the Jets loss was accumulation of problems the whole year. They just weren't focused enough. Zach Wilson looked like prime Tom Brady, and you turned the ball over a bunch of times, which has been a problem all year. So the Jets game just showed all the problems with the Eagles in the middle of the season, but people wrote it off because they were like, well, the Eagles are 10-1. Like, who would? Of course they're going to lose a game like that, but they hadn't been playing good football. So that's what frustrates me the most, because I'm shocked that we're doing this bad. I'm shocked that we're doing this bad, but I'm also not shocked that we're not in Super Bowl contention, because they haven't looked like a Super Bowl team all year, and people just wanted to kind of hide behind the 10-1, the 11-1 blanket all year. So moving on, I did want to talk about a news story, because the number 1 pick has officially been locked in. So the Chicago Bears are on the clock. And so there's been a lot of talk this week about what they do, and we've talked about it. But now I really want to know, Raj, you're the Chicago Bears. You currently have the 1st and 10th pick. That pick will fluctuate anywhere between 8 and 12 in the next couple days. What do you do if you're the Chicago Bears? You can keep Justin Fields, who I think has 1 year left on his deal. You can draft a quarterback and trade him. I want to know definitively what you'll do with the situation, because it's a big debate right now. I think in the beginning of the year it doesn't look like a debate at all. It looked like go Caleb Williams, but
I think you go and get Marvin Harrison
with the 1st pick.
I think you go and get the receiver. You trade away that 1st pick, honestly. I say you either trade that pick away or you go and get Marvin Harrison, because they need another receiver on the outside. Like, Darnell Mooney's trash. It's be real. I don't even know. Like, don't they have the other St. Brown? I don't even know who else they have on that offense. Like, I know they have
DJ Moore.
They have DJ Moore. That's the only notable receiver I can name besides Darnell Mooney. But besides that, and their run game isn't bad. They have dogs at running back. Khalil Herbert's good. They have Deontay Foreman. He's good. So they're good at running back. Like, you need another receiver to complement DJ Moore, because defenses know, oh, look, they only have 1 receiver. Let's just throw to him the whole time. And I'd probably go out and get another O-lineman, honestly, to protect Fields a little more.
So you're on team keep Fields, trade number 1 back for Harrison, and whatnot.
And then probably strengthen the O-line or fix the holes in defense. I mean, there's plenty of people you can get for defense, though, around the league, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I mean, they have Terrell Edmonds at linebacker. He hasn't been playing super well this year, but, I mean, he's still good. They got Montez Sweat from the Commanders. Montez Sweat is currently leading both the Bears and the Commanders in sacks this year, which is
crazy statistic.
That's a crazy stat. I'm fully with Raj too. I think you stick with Fields. Like, I think has proven this year that if you put weapons around him, you give him a decent offensive line, he's a franchise quarterback. Is he going to be the best quarterback in the league? I don't think so, but you don't need to every single team can't have the best quarterback in the league. That's not how it works. But you have a solid franchise quarterback that can be good in this league, absolutely. And I think people that say that Fields is like, oh, he's terrible, he doesn't have any potential. No, you're an idiot. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And just like hitting the reset button and drafting another rookie quarterback isn't going to solve anything, because like, you have a solid guy who's been in a system, and granted, their coaching, not that great, but you have an NFL-ready guy now that just needs more weapons around him and just to build a team around. And honestly, I think it'll end up being better for the Bears, because Justin Fields hasn't had a great career, so he doesn't have a ton of leverage when it comes to like contracts. And the fact that his contract is coming up soon kind of means like, okay, we can kind of lowball him on the contract a little bit, because he doesn't really have a ton of leverage there. And then he could be playing like an MVP candidate, and then you don't have him on this insane contract, which, again, he could probably should hold out for if he ends up being a lot better. But I say you go get Marvin Harrison Jr. with the one. This dude's probably one of the best receiver prospects we've seen since probably Jamar Chase coming out of college. Like, he is unreal. I think him and DJ Moore would be disgusting. And then, like Raj said, kind of with a 10th pick, you either pick up a guard or a tackle or somebody, and just really trying to just push all your chips into the table and just be like, we're going all in on Justin Fields.
Dare I say, who's going to take Eberflus's job, Belichick or Harbaugh?
Well, Eberflus is definitely not getting fired.
Really?
Not this year.
Not this year.
No. They have said, I think, that like they're sticking with him at least through this next year, I believe.
That's a dumb idea, but okay.
I mean, they're 7-9. It's hard to fire a coach at 7-9. Where this is what
they did to Frank Reich when he was on the Colts.
Well,
yeah, but that team had expectations.
They're also a poverty franchise, so it's fine.
That's also true.
Coming from a poverty franchise, but
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the contracts, Peter, because I was team pro keep Fields, and now I am not, because
why?
I think the way he has played recently, he has probably played himself into a $30 million a year contract.
But that's going to be relatively cheap in like 2 years.
I think it'll be, but when you're looking at a guy like Caleb Williams, who you can get for 4 or 5 years on a super cheap deal, that's what these teams have. You've been looking around the league and seeing teams like, why do the Chiefs look the way they do? Because they paid Patrick Mahomes all this money. The Bengals are going to have to make tough calls this offseason. Trevor Lawrence almost brought his team under a rookie contract to a good win. I think for the Bears, I think it would be a mistake to waste so much cap space on them. I think Fields has got early second round, late first round trade value.
But where will he go? Atlanta?
Well, that would be a second round pick. I think Atlanta would be a place to consider. I think a place like, I don't know what Sean Payton likes athletic quarterbacks. I don't know if he would be interested.
He likes
white
quarterbacks. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Here.
He doesn't like Russ, but he likes Jared Stidham. The reason.
Seattle could be interesting. I think Pittsburgh could be interesting. Arizona.
Jesus Christ, Pittsburgh would destroy Fields.
So I think there's spots for him that are interesting. And I think Caleb Williams was a prospect that we all really liked last year. He had to go back to college. And I wouldn't change it. I think you keep the pick, you get the cheap quarterback, you trade Fields away. He might be really good in another spot, but just trade him away, get value for him. And then the biggest thing is to sit him this weekend, Fields, so he doesn't get hurt, and also to keep your draft pick where it's at, because you don't want to move up any higher from that 10 spot. So I think I would go with, I would be annoyed because I look at the value of trading back the first pick to like if you trade with New England 1 and 3, and you could get a future first from New England for that pick. And then you have Marvin Harrison, your 10th pick, and then a future first. And that looks really lucrative, but they could have drafted Stroud this past draft, and they didn't do it. And because they had the first pick. And while I got them future assets, I'm sure they would like to have Stroud now. And I'm just, with how much these quarterback contracts have been hindering teams, I'm just not sure when you have the opportunity to get a cheap quarterback that is really talented, I think that just might be the right place to go. So that's my logic on it.
So I'm looking at the draft order right now, and something that's just like, okay, so let's say the Bears take, okay, so if the Bears take Caleb Williams, that means Drake May is definitely going to New England, right?
100%, yeah, because Washington's
going
to draft the kid from Penn State, I think.
Okay, so if the Bears don't take Caleb Williams, New England takes Caleb Williams, then where does Drake May go?
Well, I think he'd just go forward to Arizona.
But Arizona's not going to draft a quarterback. They're going to stay with Kyler Murray, I think.
Ugh, I wouldn't want to do that if I was Arizona.
like,
but also don't have any threats. And this is where I think the quarterback contract and the quarterback support argument is going to start heating up more and more. It's like what happens when you pay a quarterback a lot of money and put a lot of stock in him and don't have weapons. Like this is exactly what's happening with Patrick Mahomes. He's making a bunch of money and he has no receivers. And it's like, okay, well then we could still draft a young quarterback and develop him. But if we don't have receivers, he's not going to develop. Look at Carolina.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance between the two. It is. But like, I think most importantly, I think the whole thing is like, I think people tend to overvalue weapons as opposed to offensive line.
I agree.
Because like, of course, every year it's always like somehow every year, like we have these garbage offensive lines with rookie quarterbacks. And then we because like obviously Bryce Young is better than what he looks like this year. He absolutely is. He has nobody to help him though. And when you look at a team like, I'm trying to think of a team that has weapons but no O-line, that has a young quarterback. Can't really think of anybody. The Commanders, like Sam Howell. Like he's got weapons. He's got some like solid guys. He's got Terry McLaurin. He's got Jahad Dotson. Brian Robinson's a solid running back. Their offensive line is terrible, and he looked solid, but he didn't look like an amazing quarterback. Versus you have like when Anthony Richardson was playing, they have a better offensive line. They don't have as great of weapons, but he looked way better than Sam Howell did. Like just way better. And obviously they're very different quarterbacks, different play styles, all that. There's a lot of other variables in there. But
100%,
I think giving a young quarterback time is way more important than giving them somebody that can catch the ball. Because look, there's going to be a receiver that can catch the ball. They're in the NFL. Obviously the Chiefs are having issues with this, but most of the time guys can catch a pass if you can throw it to them like on time and everything, because you can run certain route concepts that will break defenses. Like you're going to get guys open eventually, but if he can't throw the ball to him, it doesn't matter. Like it's like the Joe Burrow when they could draft like Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell. Like the whole thing was, it was like, oh well, Jamar Chase had this amazing season, but then when it came down to it, it was the offensive line that let Burrow down, and he couldn't get the ball to Jamar Chase because Aaron Donald ran right past the left tackle, and that was it.
Yep. Here's my question: if you're New England and Caleb Williams goes off the board first, you can probably draft Marvin Harrison at 3. Why don't you just trade your 31st, the first pick in the second round, for Justin Fields and say, hey, we'll take Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison in New England. That's an instant boost to our offense.
Say, okay, as the Patriots, absolutely, I would try to do that. I don't know if the Bears. Oh wait, no, because you're saying if the Bears draft Caleb Williams,
Caleb. So then you have the quarterback on the cheap new deal.
Mm-hmm.
You have
as New England,
you're
making that call immediately. I think. I think you're calling the Bears now and seeing what they're doing.
Because then if you're the Bears, you can go draft a receiver from like that kid from Washington at 10, or you can go get some other help at offensive tackle. Brock Bowers could be there, and then you can say, all right, Caleb, you got DJ Moore, Brock Bowers, or DJ Moore, and Odunze, I think is his name, from Washington,
Penn State. Or no, oh, you're saying the receiver from Washington.
Receiver, yeah. I know he's mocked pretty high, so I would see what you can get, because I think some teams in the second round with early second round picks would be interested in a guy like that. Even if your team early round, like the Raiders had the 42nd pick, would the Raiders be interested in getting Justin Fields in their city? I think they would.
I mean, probably, but yeah.
So I think it just is an interesting question. I think they could get a good haul for him, and I think Caleb Williams, you just say that guy could be real special.
Yeah.
And then go from there, but
yeah, true.
All right. We'll hold the Justin Fields for now and come up with some good situations later, but we're going to preview week 18 of the NFL rapid fire, going through these games, talking about what they mean, and we'll give our little brief predictions. Steelers Ravens. This game matters a lot for the Steelers. It doesn't matter for the Ravens at all. Lamar's already sitting.
Oh, he's already
it's
sitting.
on
Okay.
They're already playing Tyler Huntley. But again, this matters a lot for the Steelers. If they win, there's a chance. They have a 44% chance to win. If they lose, they have no chance. I would not like personally, I do not want to see the Steelers in the playoffs. So I would like the Ravens to win, although I do think the Steelers are going to win this game.
Well, now that Mike Tomlin's black magic has worn off and he is guaranteed to at least
He's
have
got
a
9
500,
wins.
They're gonna lose. I think the Steelers are gonna lose solely because like they will finish 9-8. They will be completely slightly above mediocre. Yeah. I just I think that the Baltimore defense, I don't know how many starters on defense are going to be sitting. If it's going to be like the entire team sitting and they're literally just putting their second string in.
I don't think they're going to sit that many guys. 2 weeks off is a decent amount of time off. I think Lamar sitting is easy. He's your franchise quarterback.
You're not getting him hurt, yeah.
You had a PCL injury last year. You don't want to mess with that again. I would play most of your guys, rest the injured guys. A guy like Robert Queen has played all these snaps this year.
Oh yeah.
And Patrick Queen? Robert Queen?
Patrick Queen,
yeah. Patrick
You're
Queen,
Roquan Smith. Yeah. That's the other linebacker.
I would rest a guy like Queen and just say, hey, you've played a lot of snaps this year. You need to
don't get hurt.
Wind down a little bit. But then and this is great that we have this Saturday night too. Saturday, 8:15, the Texans go into Indianapolis for a game that matters for everything.
That's huge. That's awesome. Oh my god.
They did a really good job of the scheduling. Right now, the Colts are in the playoffs in the 7th seed. The Texans are out. It's likely whoever wins this game will get the last playoff spot.
Damn,
and that's very
exciting.
Gonna be
hype.
We get to see CJ Stroud. I just imagine if we had Anthony Richardson versus CJ Stroud in this spot.
I know, but hey, Minshew mania. He's still in this. The backup legend. So
yep.
I don't know. I feel like the Texans win this, but
okay, I'm feeling the Colts. I feel like a lot of people I feel like the betting public is probably on the Texans, and I think Indianapolis a little bit more of a mature team. Texans really banged up. They kind of pull off the upset, and everyone's kind of like, damn, I don't really want to watch Gardner Minshew in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think. Oh, damn it, you're kind of convincing me now. Damn it, you know what? I'm flipping. I think the Colts. Yeah, because I forgot how banged up the Texans are. And their defense and the Colts defense is really solid this year. Damn it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I don't know. Damn it. I don't know. This is hard.
I'm wondering what the line is for that game. Who are you taking for the Steelers-Ravens game?
I think the Steelers are actually going to win that game. I mean, the Ravens are resting people, so who knows? I think the Steelers will pull off one more miracle.
If the Steelers make the playoffs, man, I'd be so upset.
Kenny Shane Pickett getting his first snap in the playoffs.
And then just gets obliterated.
First of all, I mean, Kenny Pickett should be absolutely pissed off about this benching thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous. You drafted this kid in the first round. You're going to play Mason Rudolph over him.
We all know Mason Rudolph's history. He's not this good. It's the same thing that happened with Dobbs and Mullins and all these QBs.
I think people forget. Yeah, I think people forget that Kenny had didn't he have a 300-yard game before he got hurt?
It was first of his career, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think Kenny's the guy, but this is the same situation I kind of have with Sean Payton a little bit, where he is your guy. You drafted him. So you have to play him. This whole trying to get fancy, Mason Rudolph's been playing well with the team, that you got to win with them. I don't care about all that. Your franchise quarterback comes back, you play him. You use a first round pick on him. You have to play him.
I mean, I get the idea of keeping it with the guy with the hot hand, but I feel like after a certain point, it's if you don't have faith in him, then what are we doing?
By the way, the over under for that game is 35.5.
Good.
And then we have the Texans favored by 1.5 points. I would totally fade.
Texans favored by 1.5. Damn, that's a close game.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch that. I think it's a great Saturday night game, and for a division that doesn't get a lot of attention, but a lot of people will be watching that game.
Yeah,
on the flip
definitely.
side, we have Jaguars Titans, and I think this is again an interesting spot for the Jaguars because they've been playing really bad football, but they have a chance to make it all right, and if they win this game, they win the division, and I think it's a really interesting spot for them for how bad they've been playing, and I think the Titans are going to want to play some spoiler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean Titans definitely because they're not. Are they eliminated yet, or are they like fully? Or they like have like a 2% chance or something of getting it.
Titans?
Yeah.
Titans are out.
Titans are out. Okay, yeah. I could definitely see the Titans trying to play spoiler. I could also see them randomly beating the Jags, like just for some reason. Because the Jags
they're not playing good.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like they just haven't. They're the crown of least convincing good team has flipped a couple of times in the AFC. It's been with Miami, it's been with Baltimore, but now it's fully on the Jags. I don't know what's going on with them. Because again, like
the Jags can miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
like that. Oh, jeez, that'd be brutal if they did.
So, but they can make it all right if they win, and I think they will pull out the win.
I think they do beat the Titans, but I think it's like a bad win. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, over under for that game is also 30, like a low at 39.5.
Oh, jeez.
Raj, you taking?
Okay. I've been zoning out. I have a parlay going. I needed Jabari Smith to hit a 3, and I'm sweating it anyways.
Oh, I was wondering what you were watching. I was like, what is he watching right there?
I'm sweating it. The Jags are going to win that game.
Okay.
Then,
Jags are winning, guaranteed, 100%.
I think
Vikings Lions
win that game.
Vikings Lions. I was saying, moving on to the Vikings Lions. This doesn't matter. The Vikings are on the outside looking in. They need a lot of things to go their way if they even win to make the playoffs. They're currently sitting at a 4% chance with 11.
4%. If the Lions are resting, then I have no idea.
Well, okay, so the Vikings, if they win, they need the Packers to lose and the Seahawks to lose. And then they also need the Saints to lose.
Yeah, they're cooked.
So this game doesn't matter.
This game doesn't
Falcons
matter.
Falcons Saints matters a lot because I'll pair that with the Buccaneers and the Panthers. If the Panthers upset the Bucs and the Saints beat the Falcons, and the Saints actually win the division, but the Bucs have the tiebreaker. So, and the Saints are also playing for an outside spot for a wild card. So, matters a lot. I don't really think the Bucs are going to have a problem beating the Panthers, and I think
they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. But those games do interlink a little bit, where like suddenly you look over your screen and Bryce Young has put on a masterclass in Week 18.
Yeah, that would be hilarious if he literally just played like a first overall pick and just the least, like the game that has like the least impact on the Panthers season. Like they've been eliminated for weeks now. And it's like week 18, and he just goes for like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Beats the Bucs, and then the Saints get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So those games intertwine a little bit, but I think the Bucs will win that game. I also think the Saints will win their game against the Falcons.
Yeah, I think both. I'm fully with you on both of those. I think Saints and Bucs both win, but Saints get just the short end of the stick and get knocked out.
Yeah, and they do have a chance. They've got a 51% chance if they win their game because the Seahawks could lose and then the Packers could lose. But again, a little bit outside looking in there.
Yeah.
Raj, any thoughts on those games?
I mean, for me right now, it's like, I don't know. The NFC South is just like, I have no idea who's going to win or lose those. I mean, the Bucs should beat the Panthers. We know that for a fact.
That better happen. Good Lord.
Game. But Bucs and Saints can go either way. I honestly don't know. Or Falcons Saints, sorry. That can go either way. Like, we don't know. Maybe Bijan has a master class. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
I mean, the Falcons just beat the Colts the other day. Like, you just never... A couple weeks ago, you never know.
It's purgatory.
Jets Patriots next game. Not a big deal for the playoffs at all, but a big deal for draft standing. go to our
Patriots
little.
are tanking. That they have to lose this game. They have to.
Because here's what's crazy: if the Patriots win and go 5-12, and like a team like the Giants lose and the Chargers lose and some of these other teams, they could be pushed back into this like 6-7 draft order pick. Whereas like if the Jets lose and some other teams win, then they could go up to like 5 or 6. Like the Patriots have to lose this game. If you lose out, like you could either move up if the Commanders pulled off an upset win against the Cowboys, which they probably won't. You could stay at 3 or move up to 2, which is so huge for your season. But it would be classic Bill Belichick to fall back to like 7 or 6, lose out any opportunity.
So
like they have to tell the team, guys, we can't play hard, because
like,
it would be
it would be so Belichick though to beat the Jets in the last game of the year where they don't need to beat them. Like that's so Belichick.
And fall back into a spot where they can't draft Jaden
Anybody
Daniels, Drake May, or Caleb Williams. Like it would be the most Bill Belichick way to potentially end his time in New England.
Good Lord.
And they're gonna draft some like offensive tackle who is like 20 on other people's draft boards with that pick anyway. But I'm not gonna make a prediction for that game. I don't care.
Well,
Browns,
for
Bengals
me
also,
personally, I hope that
Yeah.
New England wins so that way the Giants can possibly move up to 4. That would be sick.
because
I know they're losing to the Eagles, no matter how much you guys keep saying that they're not. But whatever.
I'll say the Patriots lose just because I can't watch this team anymore.
I can't watch this team.
I need them to put like an actual quarterback there. Mac and Cheese Jones can't play. Bailey
What do you
Zappi
mean?
can't play.
Zip Zap Zappy is he's the answer.
Browns Bengals. This game doesn't matter at all. The Browns have locked up the 5 seed. The Bengals are eliminated from the playoff contention.
Yeah, it literally doesn't matter.
Bears Packers. This game matters a ton. The Packers, if they win this game, they're probably going to make the playoffs, and that's kind of where they're looking at. Yeah, they'll pretty much make the playoffs if they win this game and get the last seed in, which would be huge for them because I think getting a Packers Cowboys playoff game would be like a classic, even if the Cowboys would probably win that game. I will mention again, I would not, if I were the Bears, I would not play Justin Fields. I think that would be an absolute mistake.
Yeah,
lose the game because you want to get a better draft pick. You don't want to fall back to 12, maybe move up to 8. Lose the game and don't let your quarterback get hurt. Like his trade value is at an all-time high right now. So leave him there.
Yeah,
Do not put bad tape out there. Do not let him get hurt. We're going to just sit him. Hey, we don't want our franchise.
Bears go all in with Justin Fields. Play him. Try to make the playoffs. Don't listen to Justin.
The Bears can't make the playoffs.
I don't care. You still play him.
I'll say the Packers get it done and get the 7 seed.
Yeah, I think the Packers still beat the Bears, just because like the Packers just own the Bears. They always will. Yeah. I don't know how the Packers have gone like 30 years of good quarterbacks, and they're about to go 45. But good Lord, they did it.
Raj, congrats on your parlay hitting.
Oh no, it hasn't hit yet. That was only it's a 20 legger.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
I need OG to hit another 3. I need Kevin Knox to hit a 3. I need Jalen Suggs to hit a 3.
You're relying on Jalen Suggs and Kevin Knox to hit 3s. You're down bad.
They just need to get 1. That's all I need. And Bradley Beal to get 1 and Hero to get 2+.
God. Who do you think's wearing the
pit so far?
Who do you think is winning the Bears Packers game?
Oh, the Bears Packers. Hopefully the Packers. The Bears would be stupid to win that game.
I agree, but I could see them trying. Cowboys Commanders. We all think the Cowboys are winning this game, but it does matter because the Eagles could jump up in the standings. But of course, I think we're all picking the Cowboys.
Please, Sam Howell. Please, Sam Howell. Please.
Broncos and Raiders. Despite both teams being 8-8, this game doesn't matter at all. Like, not at all. They're both eliminated. Oh, well, Raiders 7-9, Broncos 8-8. Doesn't matter. Jared's in a masterclass. Eagles, Giants. Here's what
Eagles
I'm going
are
to say.
winning.
The Eagles should sit every single starter that matters. Don't play a single one of them. I don't care if there's a sliver of chance the Cowboys could lose that football game, I think you need to tell the team, go out, vacation, watch film, take a break.
Go to more escape rooms.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I don't think they need their confidence derailed at all.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this out here. So here's what you do.
Go ahead.
Send all the starters to the escape room. Lock them in there. Don't let them out. You take the key. They're locked in there until Sunday, and they can't play. Then let them out.
Yep. I just wouldn't play them. I know some people would be like, well, there's a chance the Cowboys, you need to get the offense rolling again. I really think this team could just use a break. Get Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, some older guys on the offensive line, a week off. Give A.J. Brown a week off. Give some of these defensive linemen who are probably tired, guys like Fletcher Cox who've been playing a lot of snaps, a week off, and just say, hey, we're going to just be the 5 seed. If the Cowboys lose and they get to retain the 2 seed, cool. We're still playing in NFC South in round 1, and I would just be like, let's look at it. We can play the 49ers in round 2, and if we catch them, then they talked for weeks and weeks after, like, oh, if we just had a quarterback and all they talked after they won, you just get it all back. So I would just rest the guys and try to enter the playoffs as good vibe and rested as possible, rather than chasing a division title that's probably not there. Thoughts?
I mean,
I think that's a good
thoughts.
strategy.
I mean,
yeah,
it's a good plan that they had the Cowboys play at the same time. So like, we can't just we don't know if we should bench or not. But I think I don't know what they're gonna do. Knowing our coaching staff, they're gonna be like, Jalen Hurts is gonna get out there, say some motivational. They're gonna walk out there and then they're gonna do something stupid.
Yeah.
You can see how frustrated I am with this team.
Yeah, because you're not even going on long rants anymore. You're just sad.
It's just pain.
Peter, what do you think the Eagles should do?
Honestly, I think that's a good strategy. I'm not going to lie. Personally, as coming from a Giants fan, I think you guys should beat the fuck out of the Giants. And I think you guys should drag Mike Kafka down with you, our offensive coordinator. You guys can take him. You guys are demanding a new offensive coordinator. You can have him. It's fine. You can we'll send him your way.
Still, yeah.
We'll take AJ Brown from you. You can take Mike Kafka. Fair trade. But realistically, I think that's honestly a good idea if they just rest starters. Like, maybe you have the offense out there for a little bit just to kind of prove that they're good, and kind of get them. Like, I think it's a lot about confidence right now with the Eagles. So I think if they beat the crap out of the Giants for a little bit, and then it's like, okay, guys, you're fine, you can come back out. They get a little bit going, but they don't really risk a whole lot of injury. I think. Yeah,
but I don't even think you can put the defensive starters out there. They their confidence all time low. Like. The offense should be confident. They played really well against Arizona for the most part, besides that last play. The defense.
Look, here's what you do for the defense. You have them out there for 2 drives. Both of those drives, you just play man, and you blitz both linebackers directly at the guards every single play.
Avoid the center.
Avoid the center. Just go directly. You have the center. It's like the A gaps. You don't go in the A gaps. Yep. You blitz the linebackers into the B gaps. You have your defensive tackles lined up at the C gaps. And then you have your edges just screaming off the edge. And somebody will just be nailing the quarterback. You'll get 2 solid drives, maybe a pick or something. Something stupid would happen. Whatever. You'll get some decent reps, and then you just pull everybody. Just hey guys, you did good. Stop being sad. You're going to be okay. And then that's it.
Yep. Yeah. Eagles win, I think, still. I think even if
Eagles
they're playing
still
some bench guys, I think they'll win.
I think the Giants might try to win, but I think the Eagles still win.
Yeah, I think it'd just be the Giants screwed over their draft position, that'd be bad.
I think it's just more of I don't know if the players are going to tank.
Yeah, it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to, because the Giants could move up to 8 or whatnot, but they're a prideful organization. I don't think Daboll's going to take that game.
And the thing is right now they need so much help that no matter really where they are between 8 and 2 and 3, I think they can get up to. They could take one of the best talents at whoever is there. I'm looking at the mock.
But Marvin
Well-
Harrison, like if
Well,
things
so-
went,
if Marvin Harrison somehow falls to 4 and the Giants don't get him, I'll be very sad. But like, because like what 4 through 8, we get players like Malik Neighbors, LSU receiver. We've got both offensive tackles. We got Brock Bowers. We've got like Jaden Daniels. Like if they want to go quarterback route, I don't think they should, but whatever. They got like, the receiver from Washington. Like they could do. They have a lot. They have a lot. They
Kool-Aid
could do
McKinstry.
Kool-Aid McKinstry. Him and Deontay Banks would be absolutely disgusting as a cornerback duo. So like they need a lot of help. They can kind of draft whoever. I'm not too concerned with it.
Yeah. Next game, Seahawks Cardinals. Seahawks need to win the game to have a chance for the playoffs. The Cardinals don't need to win this game. I think the Cardinals after their, I don't know. I think after their big win, I don't know. I think after, I mean, I'm sure they'll fight, but I think after their big win last week, they're still at 4 on the draft board. I think they'll be like, you know what, we can lose this game, guys, and keep our draft pick.
Oh, damn it, you're right, because they do love Gannon and like. They might actually lose this game now that you're saying that, because like they've been playing like such a solid team. It's like it really feels like I don't think anybody's like leaving this team. Like I think it's like they're just drafting, like because nobody's leaving in free agency. I'll tell you that much. Like no one's really snagging anybody. And
I
think
out to
this
the Cardinals
team could tank. Shout out the Cardinals,
because truthfully everyone clowned on Gannon coming into the year, and this is a team that plays with pride every single night. Have won some big games, 2 games against the Cowboys and the Eagles, and they'll be right in the mix for a high draft pick with a lot of talent. So I think the Seahawks win this game though, but I don't think it'll matter because the Packers are going to win and they'll miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Rams 49ers doesn't matter at all. The Rams are locked into that 6th seed spot, I think, for the most part, and then the 49ers
have the 1 seed, so like they're going to be playing. They'll probably like have the starters out for a little bit, but then it's like
Stafford's already out.
Yeah.
So I don't even know who will win. I don't know who's playing.
It doesn't matter.
I imagine Aaron Donald rest too. Chiefs Chargers also doesn't matter. It would be in the Chargers' best interest. I think actually for the Chiefs, they should play their starters to let them run through some offensive stuff for a little bit.
Yeah.
Mahomes is not a guy who really gets himself in positions to get hurt a lot. He had the ankle thing last year, but besides from that, I think put him in for the first half, let him do some stuff offensively, get a good flow going, and then set him for the second half. And then we cap it off Sunday night, Bills Dolphins for the 2 seed, first round bye, division win. It will be exciting.
That will be. That will be really, really cool.
Yeah, we'll be happy, and we will break it all down, the playoff picture, and give our predictions on the next pod episode. But boys, that's been an hour and a half of football content.
So much content. Let's go.
Do we have anything else we'd like to add?
The Eagles hurt me so much.
I can't wait for...
That's been made explicitly clear.
Yeah. This Eagles-Giants game is going to be absolutely hilarious, no matter what happens.
Yeah, I
can't
do
wait
agree
for
with that.
And I can't wait for the NFL draft.
I'm excited for the NFL draft as well. I think it'll be a fun offseason. A lot of teams are right there.
There's a lot of really good players in this draft, too.
There's a lot of good players, and there's a lot of teams that are just... Look at some of the teams that were eliminated from the AFC. Broncos 8-8, Bengals 8-8, Raiders 7-9.
Yeah.
Like, those are all teams that are out of the playoffs with a week to go. And even in the NFC, we have 8-8 Saints, 8-8 Seahawks. Could be 8-9 Vikings. Just deep rosters all around the league. Looking to add that one extra player and a lot of QB controversy. So good content for the NFL to come. But that'll do it for this episode of the Coconut Curry Podcast. If you like what you saw and made it this far in the episode, thank you for doing that. And please like, comment, subscribe. And we will see you next week for our NFL playoff breakdown.